Hey up everyone, I'm Sue Circuit and welcome back to House Flipper. Today is episode 14 out of my continuing series, so without further ado, shall we get into it? So we all know the drill by now. First things first, we're going to do the property description. This week I haven't received, at the date of recording this, a request for a buyer, so I'm just going to pick the next property and I'm going to do it as I normally would, about specifically choosing a buyer to do it for. Obviously, as I said last week, I won't be doing these two because they are part of a different pack. However, this is our next one that we have to do, the one to flip. Some armchairs are so comfortable that one would never want to get off of them, and this apartment comes with two of them. Who would let such a bargain go? So that was the property description, and the property title is the one to flip. So as you can see, it doesn't look too bad, but this one doesn't actually have, like, from the looks of it, an actual house. It's an apartment, so, or a flat. Oh my god, there's so many rubber duckies. So without further ado, shall we get to the property? And here we are. If I sound a little bit more quiet, I'll try and fix it in editing. I'm not recording in my usual place, so I have to be a bit more quiet than normal. But yeah, as we all know, time for the before tour. So obviously I won't be doing it outside because there isn't an outside. But yeah, this place looks a mess. Whoever was here didn't bother, oh my god, didn't bother to tidy up at all. I mean, look at this kitchen, it is gross. Luckily enough though, the actual walls themselves seem fine. And why on earth is there a turkey with sunglasses and a massive box? This definitely belonged to a couple of lads, that is for sure. And here are the famed duckies, and they got a little double ducky, and when you turn it on and off, look, his eyes glow. But yeah, look, we got so much stuff. So this is going to take a while to set it all out, but as I say, set it all out, sell all the stuff so that it gets out of the apartment. But yeah, I just walked over the pizza pile. These are the famous comfy armchairs. Bedroom 1, from the looks of things. Again, a load of muck, a load of mess, but shouldn't take too long to do. And I assume bedroom 2? Yes, this is the second bedroom. So yeah, let me just do a quick pan round. At least they had a nice painting in here. They had lots of paintings in here. I was talking about that one, but is that more stuff on the top of the... There is more stuff on top of the cupboard, yeah. It looks like a tornado and a hurricane came through here simultaneously. How you doing? Awful after walking into this flat. But that is the before tour. Short and sweet, unfortunately. There isn't too much to see, just a little mess. So, as I said before, I'm not selling this house to a particular buyer. I'm going to give it a couple of weeks to see if there's any comments for a particular buyer. Also, I don't feel that a lot of the buyers would suit this property. I know obviously one of them will buy it, but I meant out the ones that we got left, which is the family Johnson. This is far too small for a married couple in the mid-30s with 3 children and a grandma. I feel like Jack Tarrington, right, that's the wrong person, is a 40-year-old investor buying houses for rent. He might like it. But I feel like he probably wants a bigger one. 4 bedrooms. Yeah, so he wants a bigger property, really. And Raphael Urco could be a good fit, I suppose. Exactly 1 bedroom. Oh no, this has got 2 beds. So we could make it separate, I suppose. Entire magazine collection that fits bookshelves, a master bedroom. A large, more bedrooms would be useful for such a popular guy like me. So does he want 1 bathroom bedroom or 2? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to deliberately try and sell it to him, but if I do sell it to him, or should I try and sell it to him? Exactly 1 bedroom, okay. First impressions important. Good living room. My entire magazine collection will fit on the bookshelves. Large master bedroom is on point. More bedrooms would be useful for such a popular guy like me. A bathroom, why only 1? No, so he wants more than 1 bathroom, so he wants at least 2 bed, 2 bath from the sounds of it, so I won't bother for him. I'm just going to renovate this flat in my own particular style this week. So without further ado, shall we get renovating? Okay, are we all ready for the final reveal of this place? So as you come in, you can see there is a marked difference in what the place looked like before. I've now added in a compact but totally functional dining room table. I even ensured that, if it will let me get to the chairs, that these chairs have enough space to be fully extended outwards and have enough room for leg room as well. So that's why they're tucked in at the moment, and that's why there's a big gap behind the table. But I made sure that the chairs were functional when I put them in. I always try and make sure my dining room is functional. But yeah, we got now, instead of having the snooker table here, we now have a nice dining table. I redid the kitchen, so this little bar bit is slightly smaller, but that was on purpose because with the big dining room table, you don't really need like a massive bar space. And anyway, it's got the same amount of stools as it had before. So yeah, we've now got a fully functional kitchen with an oven, a big sink for plenty of storage underneath there, and a dishwasher here as well, and obviously lots of above cabinet storage as well to make sure they've got plenty of places to put the things so they don't have to clutter up this entire surface with pots and pans and shelves and stuff. So yeah, and then to separate the space off, it really irritated me how originally the flooring for the kitchen came out one past where this wall was. So yeah, to separate that off, I added in this little nook here as like a little clothing area for getting changed and dressed. I added in this plant here to make sure, like visually, you have like your dining space and then you have your little coat rack space. So it kind of feels like its own separate thing, but still blends in with the rest of the room. And as you can see, I kind of kept with the yellow theme. I was a bit inspired by the kitchen, so I kept with the yellow theme, thinking that it just looked nice. So that's what I went with. And I got this little bookcase down here. It just, I don't know, I kind of liked it. It kind of fit in this little nook and it made me happy. And then I've got the painting on the wall and obviously a big sitting area, so I replaced the two random chairs with the two big sofas and an armchair with a little footstool to sit on, obviously a coffee table and a little side table as well. And as you can see, I completely changed the layout of this room compared to before. Obviously this had two walls, I've moved the door across and everything else. So the reason being is I'll show you shortly. Oh, and yeah, in this living room I also added in a little desk area with a graphics tablet because I think it's kind of cute. And obviously if somebody was in a bedroom, you would you know, this is the master bedroom, so the main host of the room would be in using this space. You know, their job is now a graphics designer in my head canon. And I added in a little electric fireplace because I think it's just super adorable, and if I turn the lights off I'll show you what I mean. Like, just look how cozy that looks. You know, it's not so obvious because it is like daytime, but at nighttime that's super cute. My only downside is obviously I replaced the windows out here, but for some reason they don't provide natural daylight in on this side of the building. But yeah, they're actually secretly doors, but obviously if this was actually up to health code, there would be a little rail to stop people from like going out the window or whatever. But you need fresh air, so I made sure to include big bright windows, as these are the only windows that I could put into this place. So I just replaced the ones that were already there with much bigger ones, because it's important if you only have a limited daylight to have as much as you can come in, as much as you can get. And I feel like if you're going to have daylight anywhere, you're going to want it in your living room space and not necessarily your kitchen. So that's why I've kept the layout roughly about the same. But yeah, let me show you this room. This was the original bathroom. Again, the blinds are shut, they always shut. But as you can see, I've now upgraded it from having just a bathtub in this corner. It is actually slightly smaller than the original bathroom, but I managed to add a shower in, and then I got my toilet and my sink and a mirror, and I added in this little cubby here for like storing extra bits and pieces, and obviously blocking the view of the toilet from the shower. However, I did originally have this the other way around so that the holes were on this side, but then I thought, like, logistically, I know it's silly, it's only a video game, if you were trying to reach and put stuff away, this side would be easier. So yeah, I did that, and I've gone for like a nice light blue theme in here with, you know, modern feeling to the bathroom. And the reason why it's smaller is because of this. I've now sectioned off this bit. Oh yeah, and I pushed this wall out because originally this was recessed, so it was set back like 2 layers, and I didn't know why. It just made it seem extra small for no reason. But yeah, I added extra wall in, and I kept the original tiling and stuff in here and just made this a little utility space, so you got plenty of shelving in your washing machine. So then it's separate from the kitchen, because you'll never understand why in house slipper law, if you put a washing machine in and a shelf in your kitchen, it suddenly becomes a laundry room. despite the fact that there is a fridge and an oven and a hob in there. So I just don't get it. But yeah, we're not going to argue with how they classify rooms. And I've got like little details around. I tried again to not go too overboard of details, because this is going to be like a place that somebody would move into. So like when you're showing the place, you kind of want to make it look like somebody does live here, but not so much so in case they want to add their own style. So this room is now slightly smaller. It's no longer a double, but I felt the 2 doubles were just too small to be 2 doubles. So I've made it into a children's room, but it could quite easily just be a single room. And obviously if you're renting it out to people, you'd make this room slightly less in terms of like how much they had to pay for rent. But I added in different windows again so they could have lovely fresh air in the building. But yeah, I kept the original recess here. I just added it, made it 1 extra wide so that this bookcase would fit, as I feel like, again, storage is always a big thing in smaller rooms. But yeah, I got some nice little paintings on here, and I've gone for like a nice relaxed green and white combo, and obviously the curtains open and close. So that's why the windows are there and not the whole way across, because again, the curtains in flats seem to be really blooming awkward to place. They're awkward to place anyway. It makes me forever sad that I can't, for example, get like a hanging curtain that will hang from the ceiling and go across. Like, they really need to add that in. I don't know whether they've added it in future expansion packs, but yeah. Another reason why I had this little recess here is because I added in this room, which meant that obviously I had to push this door across to the master bedroom, which is why that room is slightly smaller to accommodate this door. And the reason I did that is because, as you can see, you have a lovely master bathroom, or like the family bathroom. So they have options that each individual person has a bathroom they can use. So that will stop squabbling over who gets to use what bathroom when, unless obviously they want to have access to the bathtub. But yeah, so I added this on this side because I imagine maybe a couple with their kid would be living here, so therefore the kid will probably use the shower if they're old enough or whatever, and the parents get a lovely deep bath to have a shower, a bath in, not a shower. And then obviously they have this shower. So again, I say this every single time, but if I had the option to, I would obviously lower the floor on where so it divides it into like the wet area and the drier area. But I've gone for like a green again. I feel like I've gone for a bit of a green theme in this flat, because I just like these green tiles, and I think they mesh really well with these grey ones, and I just like how deep the colour is. But yeah, I also added in loads of little details, so they got like toothbrushes and stuff, and paintings, and a radiator for all the clothes. I will never understand why as well House Flipper insists on putting the light switch inside the bathroom. Like in the UK where I'm from, we always put our light switches to wet rooms like bathrooms on the outside of the room, so that way no one gets electrocuted. But yeah, House Flipper, if you don't put the light switch inside the room, it just won't, it won't work. So yeah, and obviously I got this little desk in this little corner as well. I had a couple of vases, and I got an individual light for the space. So if I turn the lights on in here, so you can see this lights up, so I feel like that kind of works as well there. And then last but not least, the master bedroom. Now obviously the bed's all unmade, so I'll just make it as I go in. But yeah, I've gone for a cream and dark blue theme. I placed a dark blue carpet down because I never used the dark blue carpet, so I tried my best to work with it. So you have to let me know what you think. So I had a little bit of an awkward scenario with, originally I put bedside tables either side, but then on this side, because there was a bedside table here, it was too congested coming in and out. So I was just like, I can't do that. So to compromise, what I did was I put a shelf across here to kind of act as like the bedside table for both of them. So I think that was a fairly good compromise. And obviously I wanted a nice big bed, because if I had a smaller one where the headboard would fit in that gap, it just wouldn't look right in the room. The room would look too empty. So I went with this instead, and I think I did a fairly good job, and I really like the hanging part in the middle. It just makes me happy. And then yeah, I ended up with this big gap here between the bed and the wardrobe, because I had an awkward time with the windows, getting them to line up properly, because I could put another window here, but then all I have is a tiny sliver of wall. So I feel like this kind of works a bit better like visually, considering that this obviously is quite a long wall, and I can't edit the structure of this wall because it's not what's the word? It's not an interior wall, it's an exterior wall. So I can't do anything to the layout of this room really, aside from, as I say, just make it slightly bigger. So although yes, I had to split 2 doubles into 1 double and 1 single, I think it's worth it for a master bedroom this big and spacious. And obviously they've got a nice seat here that they can use to enjoy the view. when the game isn't being funny about the windows. But yeah, again, as you can see, big windows, and if the game won't let me, but if you really wanted to, you could go out the window. But I just imagine that our building always looks like this building and that building over there, and that we've probably got something over the balcony like this to stop us from going off. Obviously you can't see it, but then again, you're probably not supposed to be able to open the windows this far. But then I had like matching lamps as well throughout the bedroom, because I don't know what it is, I just love like the subtle golden glow of these lamps. They're so soft and so good for like the majority of the rooms that I make. And I added in a big picture to take up this big blank wall. I tried not to go too hard with the dark blue, because obviously I've got a dark blue carpet and a dark blue wall, so I tried to add it in with some of the furnishings, not furnitures, and balance it out with some whites, but then adding some little blue details in with like this blue vase and this blue pot with white on it. So yeah, I think I did a fairly good job, and I used a big white carpet to mark the sleeping zone, because I've been watching this guy who talks, he's a feng shui guy. He always talks about feng shui, and he always mentions using a rug to anchor your sleeping space, so you have like a walking pathway around the room. So I attempted to do that. So I don't know whether I did a good job or not, but I like this room. I had to work really hard here with a door, because I couldn't really place the door anywhere else. And obviously I can't place the bed against the windows, because obviously you can't put a curtain up here, which if you could put a curtain up here, I would be able to place the bed somewhere else. I guess the best place to put the bed would have been here, but then you had all this extra space. I was just like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's just an awkward place to put the bed. And don't worry about this wardrobe, it is still fully accessible because we have sliding doors. So yeah, that is the house. This is the Arthur tour complete. Ignore that glitching. So yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think of the place. As I say, I didn't do it for a specific buyer. This was just a series circuit inspired house. And honestly, if I was living here, if I walked in this flat and I saw what it looked like originally and what it has now become, I'd be quite happy to move in here myself, especially with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and a decent sized kitchen. I mean, it's not massive, but it's definitely doable for one person on their own, especially if they're entertaining or whatever, and a full kitchen table that you cannot grumble at that, and then a little desk space as well. That would just make me so happy. But yeah, I guess it's time to sell the place. Let me just shut the door. Oh yeah, this is our entryway, by the way. I haven't edited any of it. You have the other flats. The only thing I edited was adding this door in, because I changed it from yellow, and that's how you exit the place. So I haven't painted any of this. I could do, but it's the outside of your building. You don't normally paint them bits. So let's sell this place. So the total time for this renovation was 3 hours and 15 minutes, but considering how long I've taken for the after tour, I think is actually like 3 hours and like 5 minutes. So I'm just going to say, for the sake of argument, this was like 3 hours and 5 minutes of renovation. So we're going to put it on auction. Yes. So apparently my house price was like 72,000. Renovation cost was apparently 2 grand. Furniture brought was 8 grand. Furniture sold was 12,000. House sale 90,000. So overall, I am making a £20,000 profit at the moment. And we all know that these guys are going to moan because there's 2 bathrooms, which is too many, and there's too many rooms because they only want 4 rooms, which what makes them perfect for the initial buyers, for like the first houses. But they are very happy because the house is clean. They've said it twice, they're so happy. Got lots of plants in the house, which is true. Enough space for all of our books. I put bookcases in literally every room that it was appropriate to put bookcases in, and obviously in the bathrooms, the dividing wall actually classes as a bookcase. So yeah, in this house there is a kitchen, so cooking for the grandchildren will be possible. They haven't said anything about rugs, but I know they love them. So let's negotiate. Let's see, we're going to get one person to say yes. So we could possibly negotiate an extra 22,000, but it's unlikely to happen because the game hates me. I don't know why it's even an option, because they never do. If it's over 3,000, they never do. But let's accept that offer. I always forget to do the property descriptions now before I put them onto sale. So while we're loading in here, I'm also going to do the property description because I am a goober and I got so used to selling to buyers, like specific buyers, that I stopped doing the property negotiations descriptions. So yeah, this one has now changed. So the title of the property is still the one to flip. So I've now changed and updated its property description to be the following. This property has been brought back up to snuff from its previous owner's neglect. Not a single pizza box remains, perfect for those who like to have company, and its spacious design accommodates many different lifestyles. This property is relaxed in mood and design. This flat contains 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a combined living room and kitchen area. So as I say, I've been trying to shorten as much as I can in terms of property descriptions because I felt before they were just a bit too long, and I've noticed that obviously a lot of the house flipper descriptions are quite short in nature anyway, so I'm trying to reflect that in my own property descriptions. So yeah, I guess there's not too much to say in terms of final thoughts for this build, apart from the fact that I just really enjoyed like doing one of the flats for a change, because as I say, it was just one of my own standard builds. So I've been taking on board all the colours that I've had to add for different buyers, and since then I've been adding more colour to my build, and I've been trying to hold back a little bit on all the little bits of decor because otherwise I spend like 10 years doing a renovation. However, that's not to say that this is quite the end of the video because I have some news to share. So when I loaded in, I noticed last week, before last week's video, it told me, do I want to sell the office for 60% profit or reset the thing? Because apparently you didn't close properly. However, I thought that meant the property that we were currently working on. So obviously I clicked sell for 60% because I was like, I don't really care about the general profits because I'll have enough for my next build. But obviously it meant this one, which I didn't realise until I loaded in today and got the exact same message. So instead of clicking sell for 60% profit, I clicked reset the building. So when I loaded in, as you can see, I'm not at my usual bush or anything else. All of my progress I made is completely gone because I had to reset the entire space. So as a result, I panicked a little bit because I thought that meant that the building that I just recorded for the renovation that I was doing for this week's video was completely reset. So I checked it and it was fine. That's why I've done my after tour and everything else. But yeah, so this is just a caveat for next week's video. I'm going to be restoring the office to what it looked like before. I did mention when I was switching over to my new PC that I actually lost the files for this office. So perhaps it's a blessing in disguise, despite the fact it took me forever to do. So we gotta fix it. But yeah, thank you. I guess that's where I'm going to call it for today's video. Ignore me. I nearly went into the outro about actually letting my brain catch up to my mouth. But yeah, this is where I'm going to call it for today's video. I really enjoyed today's video. So let me just give you a reminder of the buyers that we've got that we've got left. I really ought to learn to speak and let my brain catch up to my mouth because my mouth just rambles and my brain can't keep up. So we have still got the family Johnson. We've still got Raphael Urco. Let me just click on his face. And we've still got Jack Tarrington to do. Those are the only 3 buyers that we have left, so please leave your comments down below about who you would like to see in future videos for house flipper renovations. We've got plenty of properties left to go, so I really need to know your comments, otherwise I ain't gonna have a clue, and therefore we're gonna get through all the properties and still not sold to everyone, because that is our goal. We are planning on selling to at least every buyer at least once, and like an actual targeted property rather than them just randomly buying a property that I've renovated. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.